Next up, we have Jeremy Stephens versus Calvin Kattar. We don't want to give too much shine to Greg Hardy. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just going to be a fight. Someone's going to get knocked out. We can just move right past that. But this is a fight that we can really break down and to dive into. Jeremy Stephens, Calvin Kattar, as I just said, this is going to be a violent fight. This is also in the up for the grabs as one of the most violent fights. Now, Jeremy Stephens, he's 33 now. He's been fighting the UFC for what feels like forever. He's got he's one of the most tenured guys in here, starting with a 2007 submission armbar loss to Dean Thomas way back in the day. And he's been fighting nonstop ever since. Last 4 fights, not great. A no contest with an accidental eye poke to Jair that got rescheduled, and he ended up losing in a unanimous decision. Another unanimous decision loss to Zabit Magomedsharipov, and then Jose Aldo TKO'd him. So he hasn't won since he destroyed Josh Emmett's eye socket way back with some elbows on the ground in 2018. Now, obviously, Calvin Kattar is the Boston finisher. With the name, with the Boston finisher, with good reason. He's got 9 KOs, 3 submissions. He just lost us a beat, but that's coming off of 2 wins via TKO against Ricardo Lamas and Chris Fishgold. So obviously, this is a step up in competition for Calvin Kattar in a lot of ways. It's a real test for him. He's a 32-year-old, obviously hailing out of Boston in a featherweight division. The favorite here, according to the opening on the betting lines, they have Calvin Kattar as a pretty decent favorite here as a minus 250 favorite, and the underdog Jeremy Stephens at plus 194. Who you guys got going in this fight of 2 very hard-nosed brawlers?
All right. I got something for this, guys. What is the pretty common theme when Jeremy Stephens loses? Because you can almost pick out, and I'm sure you guys can too, but I can usually pick out when Jeremy Stephens fights, I think he'll win, I think he'll lose, I think he'll win, I think he'll lose. And the common theme is that Jeremy Stephens in a fight is winning. But Jeremy Stephens facing somebody who is elusive, evasive, makes you come towards him, his back stick and move, right? Has that kind of style. And look at who he's lost to. The theme is all the same, right? It's Zabit, it's Aldo, it's whoever, right? It's not guys who are just going to stand and bang
Frankie Edgar, Max Holloway.
Who hits harder straight up than Jeremy Stephens at that weight division? I don't know who does. I think Calvin Kattar is on the rise despite losing to Zabit, but Zabit is something else, and we'll talk about him another day when he has a fight scheduled. But for me, I would pick Jeremy Stephens in almost every stand and bang fight, and that includes this one. I really like the fact that he is, because as many wins as because he's what, 28, 17 and what, and 0, like that's absurd, right? He has that many fights, and they're vicious knockouts when he wins, and they're usually in brawls, fighting guys who are going to so don't think Calvin, and I love, don't get me wrong, he's on the move and he's on the rise, but I don't think stylistically this is a great for him, because I don't think he can knock out Low Heathen. And I don't think his style is touch and go enough to be as elusive as somebody who is at the top level, like Zabit, like Aldo, like Holloway. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. He's been very inconsistent in a way, and you can't tell, and it's like a power puncher, that's for sure. But I think that this is gonna be a stand and bang type of fight. He's gonna end up just being that, and I feel like Jeremy Stephens is gonna win it. Definitely, because
go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I got Calvin Kattar in this fight. I think Calvin Kattar is a very he's a great boxer. He's got good hands. He's got good head movement. He's gonna be coming into this fight, and this is gonna be a fight for a little bit of a coming out party, because Jeremy Stephens, despite not being at the top of the division, he's a very recognizable name, synonymous with exciting, crazy brawls and crazy fights. Now, obviously, like to your point, you said, Nate, when it comes to stand and bangs and brawls, you got Jeremy Stephens, and it's the guys with the polished technical skill. And I've got Calvin Kattar with the technical skill. I think he's got what it takes to kind of slip, dodge some winging punches where Jeremy Stephens is trying to take his head off and slip and punch and survive. And if you remember, you go back to that Zabit loss, he lost because Zabit took the first 2 rounds. Zabit was fading. Zabit did not have the cardio to go with it. If that was a 5-round fight, I got Calvin Kattar. He was coming on pretty damn strong. When I see a guy who's able to go against someone who throws as dynamic as Zabit does, despite the lack of the difference of power, Calvin Kattar wasn't getting absolutely destroyed. He was getting point fighted, like hit.
Right.
Zabit's a lot more technical. That is a fight where I'm like, okay, Calvin's probably taking this L. When it comes to someone like Jeremy Stephens, though, on the other hand, my opinion, I think Jeremy Stephens is going to have his hands full with a guy who's going to be very elusive with his boxing. I've got Calvin Kattar in this, and it's probably going to be via decision, just point fight, win that stuff, and just make it happen, because Jeremy Stephens, for the most part, it's KO or I lose in a decision. That's pretty much how it goes. And I've got Calvin Kattar weathering the storm and showing out and showing up. That's just what I have for this fight.
The thing is, I don't think we can underestimate Jeremy Stephens' boxing either, because I think he's a very good boxer too, right? And he's proven that time and time again. I think, by the way, my analysis would be almost the same if Zabit and Calvin Kattar hadn't fought yet. I would say the same thing about. I'd give Calvin Kattar a very similar analysis as I did Jeremy Stephens. It'd be like, stand and bang, I'm trusting you, but if it's somebody who might be a little more elusive, I don't think I will. And you're probably right. The momentum was definitely shifting in Kattar's favor in that fight. That being said, if I'm looking for 2 guys who have similar skill sets and one guy's been there and does it and shows it time and time again, and the other guy's a prospect, and Calvin Kattar is like in his 30s, like he's not by any stretch.
He's a prospect with the 20-4 record. So
right, exactly right. So he's definitely, he's on. I'm not saying that he hasn't already proven that he can do it. I just think Jeremy Stephens is probably a little bit better than Calvin Kattar is at doing a very similar thing. And if both of them, let's face it, this fight, I don't think either of them are going to try to stick and move. I think they're like, yo, let's bring the house down to this fight. I would trust
if Calvin Kattar does that, he's done. If Calvin Kattar stands in the middle and says, "Let's bring the house down," you're going down.
But
if
anybody
goes in there and says,
that's
"I'm gonna,"
anybody standing with Jeremy Stephens.
I think the key is with Jeremy Stephens, it's not just standing. It's, can you make him miss and then make him pay the price for missing? Counter punching needs to be the way that Calvin Kattar needs to win this fight. He needs to stick, move, and like if Jeremy Stephens bombards you, weather the storm, let him throw 3 or 4 punches. Don't let any of them hit, and hit him with a nice hook, a nice counter check hook or something like that. So that's where I have a little bit of a difference in analysis. But at the end of the day, that's the point of this. This is an amazing fight, and I'm really excited to see how that transpires. We're so blessed that is the 4th to last fight. The next one up, let's just tear the Band-Aid off. Francis Ngannou versus Jair Rozenstruik. My God, this is going to be such a good fight. We know who these guys are. I'll tee them up after, but I'm going to let you guys go off. You guys just jump right in. Who you guys got?
Yeah, do you want to start for this one?
Yeah, that's going to be, that's a fucking tough one to call because of just Rozenstruik's just I mean, I feel like people don't know him as well, obviously. He's not such a, like well-known fighter and stuff, but he's a beast and a half, man. Like, I mean, if anyone can give Francis Ngannou a run for his money now, that will be Rozenstruik. But I feel like Ngannou's been out for so long and he's going to be so hyped and he's probably stepped up his game a bit, So I feel like we're going to see one of Francis's patented knockouts.
Nice. Nate?
See, I don't want to disrespect Jairzinho because I don't want it to come back and bite me if he does something incredible.
Biggie boy.
But that being said, I think Francis is going to knock his head into the outer space. Yeah. Like, if you look, and I know we shouldn't use MMA math, and that's talked about all the time. Don't just say because he beat him. But if we just take Alistair Overeem, and Alistair Overeem's head still hasn't come back down from space. It's still in orbit, spinning around the earth. I don't think he'll necessarily knock Jairzinho dead, but I think he can do to him what I think Francis can do to him, what he did to Curtis Blades in the second fight, where he TKO'd him, but he was still like trying to gather his whereabouts. I think Jairzinho has obviously very heavy hands, but I think Francis is way faster and way more explosive. And as long as Francis doesn't blow his gas tank in the first 3 minutes, because then it could be a problem, because Jairzinho hits hard. And Jairzinho, it's not that he necessarily has cardio, but if he can pace himself better than Francis, he might edge him out
Alistair
later on.
Overeem was smacking him around, and then he knocked out Alistair Overeem with 4 seconds left, did Jairzinho.
But that's what I mean, right? Alistair Overeem was slapping him around the entire fight, and Francis murked, by every definition of the word, murked.
Lifted him off his feet.
Alistair Overeem. A 260-pound man with a left hook. He knocked him off of his feet. Pew, like a video game.
Now, don't forget, guys, this is a 3-minute or 3-round fight. So
Yep.
Right. Now, in 3 rounds, I don't know if, and you see Francis, what he's been doing. I know you guys follow him on Instagram. A lot of what he's doing is just body weights and cardio exercises, because he's trying to keep himself around 270, but not put on extreme amounts of muscle, because he's getting
God, that's so
super
funny,
explosive.
bro. Think about it. He's trying to keep himself at 270, bro.
Which is absurd. But that's what I'm saying. Like, when you have an explosive guy like this, who I think the fear of the Stipe fight is long gone now. I think the last time we saw that was against, what's his name? Against Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
In the most boring fight in history. I don't think Francis will be as tentative for this fight. I think he's going to want to make a statement and be like, yo, listen, like, I'm still here, and
his
I
last
am ready
3
to
fights
murder.
lasted 2 minutes combined.
Right.
For Francis.
Right. Like, and like, what are we even saying here? Right. Like, I think Jairzinho has a lot more to prove before he can command that kind of respect. Although, you know, he knocked out, I don't even know who with the first punch he threw. You guys remember that fight? Just
that
in
was
like
Andre
13
Arlovsky.
seconds.
You're talking about Alan Crowder in 9 seconds.
Yeah, right. Boom. Like, easy peasy, knocked him out. And then he went the full fight with Alistair, and then knocked him out at the end. But he would have lost that fight if he hadn't got that final shot. I just see Francis as such a beast that, unless we're talking about a very elite fight, and I mean Stipe or DC,
right?
In terms of heavyweight contenders, I don't.
And even then, those are real fights. Those are real fights. Even then, with DC and like, that's just a real fight. I'm not trying to take away from Jairzinho here. Like, who you fought? You fought Alistair Overeem, and you beat him last second. You fought Andre Arlovsky.
He was already celebrating, you know.
And, Andre Arlovsky, GG. Andre Arlovsky at the end of 2019 is not Andre the Pitbull Arlovsky. That's Andre the Chihuahua Arlovsky. And then you got Alan Crowder. It's like, no, I'm good on that. Whereas Francis, it's just Cain Velasquez, JDS, Curtis Blades. Just, I don't care if you're a vet. I don't care if you've been winning. I don't care if you're a prospect. Knockout. We're talking 2 minutes in the last 3 fights combined. That is insane. This guy's got crazy power. I actually interviewed Francis Ngannou. We're going to be releasing this on the channel soon. This is from a while ago. And I asked him a few questions about, you know, what he thought about being the stature that he is, where everyone's scared to fight him. Let's look. He hasn't fought since June of last year. No one wants to fight this guy. That's its own statement. Jairzinho called out Francis. So I will give credit where credit is due. That is insane. But for a guy who feels like he deserves, and rightfully so, a title shot in Francis Ngannou, this is going to be like, oh, I'm going to like give you no choice but to put me in there against Stipe or DC or whoever wins. And this is going to be a huge one.
Yep, I agree with you, man. I mean, I think I said like already, I think Francis Ngannou is going to get that knockout. So
Yep, that's it. GG's in the night chat. And Francis, for the betting odds, -300 favorite. And rightfully so.
Oh yeah.
We gotta throw that in there. That is a parlay all day. You're not gonna make much money off of that bet by itself. You piece that together with a couple of these fights, and you are in the green.